might be live. I think we are live. We are live. Oh, how exciting. But no one's here, which is slightly less exciting. Gives me a bit of time to myself. Don't mind that. This is much later at night than I usually stream, so hey, I hope people can make it. I've been trying to smooth down the jaggedy bob, but I think it's probably going to stay jaggedy unless I get some glue involved. Not quite sure how glue would work. But I know better than to use the hot glue gun, so I think that means it's fine. Oh, okay, yep, I gotta retweet. A tweet saying that I'm going live. Quote tweet. Get in. Dipshits. Floor out. Floor out. Quick. She looked like she was about to be sick. Shh. Jesus Christ. Doesn't feel even for some reason. But yeah, you guys are here, so who gives a shit who else turns up? My whole aesthetic today is that one bitch from the 90s that like 1,000 girls looked like for a little while. I don't think someone does have to do it. I don't think, fish botherer. Oh, the Evelyn summoning ritual shit. Yeah. How do I forget this every time? Oh, it's all sticking up in the back. Christ. I know what I'll do. I know. Just put a clip so when I turn my head, you don't actually see a big thing of hair sticking up. Actually, no, you will. You will. There's no way to clip that. You have to get some hot glue involved at some point. Not hot glue. Cold glue. Might be a bit late at night for her, but I saw it one today and I had lunch with Di and it was amazing. My brain's not flawed. It's just different in a way that is criminally insane. YouTube. Eccentric. Yeah. Eccentric. I feel like I should use a stronger word. Yeah. I really badly want to do something weird, like paint it with clear nail polish to make it sit down. I don't know what that would do. Nothing. Probably nothing. It would just make my head smell like nail polish. Oh, sirens. They're not so bad when they're here. Just don't like them. But anyway. Everyone has been texted. Oh, do you guys want to ping Josh on Discord? Josh won. Josh good. We're all either goods or fears or R signs. Well, actually, eccentric is the word used for vegetarians whose diet consists mostly of omelettes, eggs Benedict, poached, fried, scrambled, egg-centric, essentially. I should not be rewarded for that. I should be sent to The Hague and made to drink poison like my hero, that guy who drank poison at The Hague. Hi! Hi, Phil! Yeah, Phil's my brother. We're related, I think. Probably. Okay, Daughters of Silence. Oh, yes. Me and my bangs are back. Me and my bangs were looking around on Bumble just like, because I was waiting for someone to message me back. Husband. And so I was just like fucking around, like flicking, no. And I saw a guy with a swastika tattoo, so that was what that was. Don't expect to see that. I did say no thank you, in case you're wondering. I was like, no. Ideally. Okay, Hayley and Jenna, the intrepid young women who are idiots. A queen looking for a drone. I feel like, yeah, not all of the swastika. Nazi bees would be too much. That would be ridiculous. I don't think bees can be Nazis. They make honey, and honey is like antibacterial. I don't know why I think that Nazis can't be. The idiot bitch friend sisters, yeah. Hayley and Jenna. They've gone into the mausoleum. They've seen the graves of Hannah and Julia Fear. And then Angelica came in and started talking to them in a really bad Sean Connery accent, which she dropped really quickly and then became Australian. And was like, oh yeah, come back, farmy girls. They need someone to visit with them, their own age. And the girls were like, let's run home. So they did. Then, Angelica reckons that one of her daughters did not kill the other. Hey! We got both Joshes. But not a Flora. Oh, one other good thing that happened today was, I thought Fitz threw up on the ottoman, but it was just a necklace and I didn't have my glasses on. To be reminded about Sharon's brother. Oh, yeah. You got kittens? Oh my god. Oh, I'm just thinking about kittens. Makes me hungry. It doesn't. Okay, so Hayley and Jenna run from the tomb. They run all the way back to Hayley's house, and, well, not all the way back, but they run to a safe distance, and Hayley goes, "Can you believe this?" And Jenna says, "No. What a strange woman." Shaves her hands. Thank you, Phil. Thank you. It's weird because I'm constantly incredibly agitated, but when bedtime came, Hayley lit a candle and led Jenna upstairs. Oh, we called it. What What side of my head is that? Oh god, that's sticking out so much. The flickering circle of light surrounded them, moving up the stairs with them. Now, don't you girls spend the whole night talking, Mrs. Sheridan called from downstairs. I won't, Mother, Haley replied. Dropping her voice to a whisper, she added, just most of it. He did just break into her daughter's tombs. Her bedroom was tucked up beneath the eaves. Pretty daisy printed paper covered the walls. The curtains matched the yellow daisies, and yellow, green and white quilts covered the two narrow beds. You take the bed closest to the window, Haley told Jenna. JFK is getting really not JFK at all. It's just loud. Jenna sat down on the bed. With a yawn, she leaned back against the iron headboard. What are we going to do? Far out. Remember how we used to leap like frogs from bed to bed? She asked. Jenna's the Australian now. Do I ever? Haley exclaimed. Her eyes sparkled. Your mother was so angry the time we broke your bed. She sat down across from Jenna. Haley picked up a brush from the nightstand and began brushing her hair. Remember our sister oath? Let's do it again. Oh, far out, Haley. We were 6 years old. We made that up. So what? Haley demanded. Jenna smiled. Yeah. Crossing her arms, she reached out to take Haley's right hand in her right, Haley's left in her left. Yeah, we're like sisters, and we stand together and protect each other. You for me, and me for you. Forever. Forever, Haley repeated. They shook hands hard, then recrossed their arms and shook hands again. Jenna laughed. Ha ha! Far, let's go to bed, eh? Haley blew the candle out. Darkness claimed the room, broken only by the faint moonlight sifting in through the window. Jenna changed into her nightgown and slid under the covers. She felt exhausted. The long train ride, the scares in the graveyard, girls with no bones, angelica fear. Her eyelids drifted close. Yeah, that's definitely why they broke their bed. Jenna? Yeah. What do you think about the fears? In the darkness behind her closed lids, Jenna called up the memory of Angelica Fear. So beautiful and so strange. For a moment, the mouldy, dead flower smell of the graveyard wafted on the night air. Probably because you girls haven't washed your clothes or anything. Jenna's breath caught in her throat. Then she shook her head. Her imagination had run away with her already tonight. She refused to let it happen again. Well, I thought Mrs. Fear seemed fucking strange, she said. But I felt sorry for her. After all, she lost both her daughters. And as for that horrible story, can't believe sisters would kill each other. Random. That's what it is. It's more Joe Quimby. I'm trying to do like Clone High, but it's not really coming out. You're not tempted, not even a little, to believe? No, Jenna said firmly. Haley fell silent. Jenna felt herself drifting off to sleep. Alright, Jenna. Yeah, she mumbled. We're going to have to visit the Fears, you know. Jenna's eyes flew open. She sat up in bed. What? Well, she invited us for one thing. The curtains belled in the breeze, sending shadows rippling across the ceiling. Yeah, I don't want to visit Angelica Fear, Jenna told her friend. I know, she's just trying to get to some sleep, and this bitch is just hollering at her in a bad JFK voice. It's not what friends do. Where's your spirit of adventure? Haley challenged. Oh, used it all up tonight, Jenna retorted. Haley laughed. Ha ha! Oh, come on, Jenna. Don't you want to see inside the Fears house? I bet no one from town has been inside there in years. Yeah, probably with good reason, Haley, Jenna retorted. You're honestly not the least bit curious, Haley prodded. No, Jenna insisted, though she secretly knew that she did feel curious. More than a little, actually. Haley's feather mattress rustled as she shifted position. Sorry. You know I like to laugh in the dumb voices when I'm doing them. But yeah, sorry. What if we give us drugs? What if we like them? I could have a career in voiceover work, but only for a very specific type of voice acting, I think. The bad kind. Josh Good, actually is a voice artist. And he's very good. I asked him to say some rude things in the Roger Rabbit voice, and he did, and it was really funny. I don't know if you remember, Josh, but it was the time I asked you to do a Roger Rabbit voice going, Hey Eddie, you've reached my answering machine. Call me back or I'll kick you in the cunt. And you did it perfect Roger Rabbit. Like, that's not Roger Rabbit. I know that. I can't do it. But you did it. It was amazing. No, not like sexual, like really badly done accents. Funny, dumb shit. Jenna knew that she was more than a little curious. I could indeed. I would have to thank my high school form teacher, Mrs. Tonner, for having a fucking awful voice. No offense to her, I don't know where she is now. Anyway, my New Zealand accent is alright. It needs work. It needs to get more rural without shifting into Australian. I'm working on Norwegian by copying people talking in Norseman, but it keeps sliding in and out of Welsh. So someday I'll be able to do them separately and not at the same time. But anyway, Jenna's curious. Haley's feather mattress rustled as she shifted position. Jenna, you no, I wasn't exactly truthful when I said I liked it here. I haven't made a single friend. Oh, far, Haley, you will. Oh, I tried my best, Haley complained. I'm an outsider here. The girls are polite, but none of them ever come to call. Sometimes I think I'll never fit in. What's this got to do with the fears? Jenna asked. Hey, I'm not that eager to go there either, Haley confided. But I have to. You see, no one else in town has ever dared to even walk up to the front door, no less gone inside the house. That was weird. If we go, then all the other girls will want to hear about it. This is my chance to make friends. Oh, Haley. Oh, please, the other girl pleaded. Ask not what Haley can do for you. Ask what you can do for Haley, which is everything. Come on. Jenna wanted to refuse, but she couldn't. Haley was her best friend. If going to the Fear House would make it easier for her to make friends here in Shadyside, then Jenna had to help. Yeah, I'm glad that I wasn't the only child with only ghosts for friends. My parents were my friends as well. That did not get me less bullied, even though it was more friends. Ridiculous.
Alright,
Jenna muttered.
Yeah, I'll go with yous. But just this once. You're the best sister any girl could have,
Haley vowed.
the very best. Fuck, I gotta fucking sleep now,
Jenna begged. Haley laughed.
Ha ha! I didn't realise I was keeping you up. Yes, Jenna. Go to sleep.
With a sigh, Jenna closed her eyes. Slowly the world began to fade away. She wasn't asleep exactly, yet hazy, dreamlike images filled her mind. Pale shapes flitting through the night sky, ghostly robes billowing out, drifting with the beat of wings. A faint noise outside pulled her back to wakefulness. For a moment she lay still, listening. She heard the noise again. What was that? She heard it once more. Fucking investigate, bitch, come on. Louder, closer. The soft, rustling sound made Jenna sit bolt upright in bed. Jenna's skin crawled as she realised what had made the eerie sound. Wings. Something big taking flight, swooping across the night sky. End of chapter 3, beginning of chapter 4. So I guess what I thought was the end of a chapter was just like the little break thing. I didn't realise I was keeping up, she said, in the dark room, in the beds with eyes closed. Yeah. Are you trying to sleep? Are you, like, actually trying to sleep right now? No, it's just like we're teens now, you know, like only kids sleep, really. Chapter 4. Hang on. Skull.
Haley?
Jenna whispered.
Haley, wake up!
She heard her friend mumble, then watched as Haley rolled over and pressed her head deeper into her pillow. Jenna struggled to get up. She tiptoed over to the window. Beneath the sheltering branches, the woods looked dark and shadowy. Not a single ray of moonlight intruded there. Jenna is discovering the concept of night. Pretty exciting for her. Jenna stared intently at the woods. Nothing moved, apart from some people. Then a pale shadow darted out of the gloomy shadows beneath the trees. It rose, flying over the woods, then swooped straight at Jenna. Pale, fluttering wings beat at the window. Claws screeched upon the glass. Jenna caught one horrified glimpse of round, staring eyes and a deformed mouth opening and closing, opening and closing. With a cry, she jerked backward. Her knees caught the edge of the bed, sending her down to the floor with a thump.
Oh, what is it?
Haley cried, surging up in bed.
Oh, it's your fucking window!
Jenna gasped. Haley rose and went to the window.
I don't see anything, she murmured sleepily. Oh, now I see it, she added in a startled tone.
She took a step back from the window and looked over at Jenna. Yeah, it's almost like an owl. A nighttime airboy. It took every bit of Jenna's courage to get up and return to the window. But she had to see. She had to know. Her pulse pounded in her ears as she looked out. Jesus, what a fucking idiot. A white shape floated on the breeze. Oh god, I can't sneeze. Fuck. Fear Street, ASMR, snuff. Not like snuff films, but like actual snuff. Is that anything? Is that a brand? A white shape floated on the breeze. The long feathers of its wings splayed out as it spiraled down in a long glide. Then it swooped up again. Something small and limp clutched at its claws. Tufts of feathers stood up like ears.
That must be the biggest owl I've ever seen, Haley remarked as she stumbled back to bed. Looks like it caught a mouse for dinner. Jenna's breath went out in a sigh of relief. A barn owl hunting down a field mouse. How silly could she be? Snuff out it. Stupid. She trembled with sheer relief as she climbed back into bed. After the day she'd had today, a visit to the Fears should be easy as pie. We're taking bets on whether it'll be easy as pie. The hulking Fear mansion stood at the top of a low rise. Jenna went, I guess. 3 stories tall, it rested on a foundation of blackish green stone. A blanket of thick dark ivy crawled over the stone, up and over rows of dark brown bricks. Curling around the arched windows and doorways, the ivy crept nearly to the 2nd story. A long curved stone stairway and 2 tall turrets on either side of the house reminded Jenna of a castle in a fairy tale. A castle under an evil spell. A peaked grey roof and a tall spindly chimney added to the unsettling impression. Fuck you for that sentence, Arlstein. He doesn't want anyone reading his shit aloud. Easy as pie, easy as cake. I'd say pies are easier than cakes. Just like in the world of like idioms or whatever. A huge oak tree in the front yard hung low over the house. It was dying. Its leafless, skeletal limbs stretched towards the state roof like bony, outstretched arms, almost as if it wanted to drag the house into death with it. Also, it had a really scary face carved on it. This place is creepy, Haley breathed. Yeah. You sure you want to do this? Jenna asked. Her friend shot her a glance with dancing blue eyes. Why, you wouldn't miss it for the world. Easy as pie, sexy as cake. No, I'm not changing my motto, although that is a really good one. Jenna's legs felt rubbery as she climbed up the stone steps to the shadowy porch. A brass knocker hung in the centre of the front door. Jenna couldn't tell what it was supposed to be. An animal of some kind, she thought. A lion? Or a tiger, maybe? Then she saw that the tongue was forked like a snake's. It curled out from between long pointed fangs. Jenna's stomach churned with distaste. Why did they make their fancy society people house as creepy as possible? Why did they put a fucked up angel on? Doesn't matter. Go ahead and knock, Haley whispered. You, Jenna countered. Far, you're closer, eh? Whoops, no, sorry, I think it was Haley's line. You're closer. Yeah, and you took my line. Jenna took hold of the knocker and tried to lift it. For a moment, it felt as if it resisted her touch. She lifted harder. Then it came loose, so suddenly that she banged her knuckles on the creature's forehead. Bong! The metallic clatter echoed through the house. Jenna let the knocker fall back into place and rubbed her skinned knuckles. Suddenly the door swung open. Jenna could see nothing but shadows within. Dark. Thick. Speaking of a dark shadow. Flora, good girl. Look how easily she made her presence known. I'm so happy. Jenna could see nothing but shadows within the door, dark and thick. She took a deep breath. Her throat had gone tight, and her skin felt cold despite the warm summer air. Who had opened that door? You're gonna find out pretty soon, dipshit. A pale oval appeared in the dimness. A face, Jenna realized. A man's face. Hard and sharp. And ugly. Almost grotesquely so, Jenna thought, as a wave of revulsion coursed through her body. 2 black pits for eyes, jutting cheekbones, a slash of a mouth. Ugh. I'm just picturing Simon Bridges for some reason. She jumped in alarm as Haley grabbed her by the arm. Yeah, faces. Jenna, where's that? Haley whispered. Jenna could only shake her head. The face came closer. Hold on to your hat for this one, Danny. 2 smaller patches of paleness seemed to float out of the shadows. His hands, Jenna realized with a shock. Soon she could make out the vague outline of his body. Her breath went out in a gasp. Oh, so that was it. His dark clothing had blended with the shadows, making his face and hands seem disembodied. What are you doing here? His voice boomed down at them. See if that's sustainable. A feeling like sharp-clawed mouse feet scampered up Jenna's spine. She wished she could see the man's eyes, but they held the darkness like pits of shadow in his face. Terror winged its black way through her heart, and she forgot about Haley's painful grip on her arm. Ow! This thing is so tight. My head is too tight. There we go. That's the little strap that holds the wig on real tight. It's too tight on this one. Ugh, squeezes my head. Now, you girls answer me, he commanded in that same deep, dead voice. Yeah, we're here to visit Mrs. Fair, Jenna ventured. Those dark pits turned to her. Why, no one visits here.
Simon, darling, is that our guest?
Angelica's voice came from the doorway at the rear of the foyer. She stepped into view, her cream-coloured gown seeming almost to glow with a light of its own. Her hair had been pinned into a crown of raven braids. For a moment, she looked like a young girl. Then she tilted her head, flashing that stripe of white hair. Guess? Simon asked, glancing over her shoulder at his wife.
These are the guys I met last night, she explained. Remember, I told you all about them.
Oh, he nodded. His dark brows rose and his eyes widened. Those girls. I remember. Something glinted in the murky, shadowed pools of his eyes. Something chilling, Jenna thought. Please forgive me for temporarily forgetting my manners, ladies, Simon Fair murmured as he pulled the door open wider. Allow me to welcome you to our home. Jenna saw sunlight flood into the foyer, erasing the eerie shadows that had hidden his deep-set eyes. Boop, boop, ba-doop. Yeah, I reread your messages where you said, which, people's favourite voices and stuff, and I was like, oh shit, I haven't done Betty Boop in ages. Could have been funnier to switch them, but it doesn't matter. Jenna met his penetrating stare and then looked away. His eyes chilled her. Close set and black, they peered out at her from beneath discoloured, lizard-like lids. A black waistcoat and trousers draped his tall, thin figure. Ugh, I'm imagining him in just the waistcoat and trousers, like a stripper magician. And the amulet. Obviously. Above his stiff white collar, he's got a collar, his face looked gaunt and angular, his yellowish skin tinged with an unhealthy pallor. A thin, jagged white scar trailed from the corner of his left eye down to his jawline. His long nose reminded her of a pointed beak. Combed straight back from his forehead, his black hair appeared slick and greasy. He wore no moustache, but large, bushy sideburns covered his hollow cheeks. Oh my God, Simon Fair has the Dundreary whiskers. Christ. Do come in, he invited. That made you laugh? I didn't even register it. I guess I'm a grown-up. Or maybe I got it all out of my system for today with that, that joke about eggs. Jenna felt a prickle at the back of her neck, and then she felt Haley push her across the threshold. That's what it says. The inside of the house felt cool, and a musty, mouldy smell tickled her nose. Dark shadows shrouded every corner, from the deep green curtains draped over every window to the black marble staircase that curved up to the second floor. Jenna heard the sound of tiny bells. Ding, 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 ding. She looked up. A crystal chandelier stirred by the breeze tinkled overhead, shards of rainbows twirling across the floor and walls as the breeze shook the prisms. Then Simon closed the door, plunging the room back into darkness. Stripper magician, the worst.
Oh, we're so glad you came,
Angelica told them.
Come into the drawing room and we'll see about getting some tea. And you must forgive the lack of light,
Angelica murmured.
My eyes are very sensitive. The doctor gave me strict instructions just last week to keep the curtains drawn in the daytime. Simon and I know our way around so well that we rarely use the lamps.
I have no idea what she's saying because I'm concentrating on the voices. Oh, it's so weird. Why did anyone ever talk like that? I know it was Helen Kane, but Jesus. It looked to Jenna as if the curtains hadn't been opened in years, not just days. Fuck you, Jenna. You don't know my life.
It's been so long since we've had visitors,
Angelica told the girls.
I can't tell you how happy we are to have you. Isn't that so, Simon?
Absolutely, my love, he replied. Jenna glanced over her shoulder at him. He seemed taller somehow as he strode along behind them. By at least a foot, maybe two. His face wore no expression. His eyes burned with a secret, dark fire. His mouth hung open slackly like an idiot. She could understand how some of those terrible rumours had started. I made up some of those things. We live in the dark like freaks.
Oops. Well, I guess we just live in the dark. Boop, boop, beep, I'm stupid. Oh, here we are,
Angelica murmured, leading the way into the drawing room. Jenna had never been in such a luxurious room before. She'd never seen such rich furnishings or thick carpets. Heavy curtains shrouded those windows too, but a round stained glass window high up on the south wall filtered a jewel-hued light into the room.
Simon, dear, will you ring for tea?
Angelica asked. She sat on the sofa. Betty Boop voice has a lot of shoulders going. I'm not sure why. She patted the cushions beside her.
Come on, girls.
Simon tugged at an embroidered cord that hung in the far corner of the room. Then he sat on the chair opposite the sofa and studied his guests. So, girls, why don't you tell me about yourselves? He asked. Haley, I understand your family is new here in Shadyside. I'm working to eliminate consonants altogether. Everyone's dead, even the horses. Haley nodded. My father is the new school teacher.
Oh, an admirable profession,
Angelica commented.
And how are you liking your town?
It's all right, I suppose, Haley replied. Then she surprised Jenna by adding, I found it a little hard to make friends. Simon cocked his head to one side. Jenna saw his thin neck crane out of his collar like a turtle's. He's going like... In time, my dear, in time. Shadyside is a small village, and it takes a while for these townsfolk to accept newcomers. That word was newcomers. I'm so close to getting rid of all the consonants.
In New Orleans, things would be very different,
Angelica told them.
I could sponsor you girls at a coming out party. There would be balls and banquets and the opera. Alas, there's nothing of the sort in Shadyside.
There's just a bunch of skeletons dancing to Minnie the Moocher. Newer Orleans. Awe darkened Haley's eyes. Next to the moon. I've always wanted to go there. She didn't mention the moon. Angelica sighed.
New Orleans was such a lovely place, but then we had to come here, and I thought this was a lovely place too. I hoped we would be happy here, but then my girls.
Jenna saw her smile fade. Then she brightened.
Boo boo, boo, they're dead. Well, it is nice to have visitors for a change.
Jenna heard a knock on the door. Simon rose and answered it. Jenna tried to catch sight of a maid, but when he opened the door, she saw only a wooden tea cart set with china and plates piled high with scrumptious cakes.
There will be balls. And if I'm lucky, there might just be a penis. Be stupid. Oh, we simply must hold some balls. This large house, little old me. I gotta have at least 2, maybe 16 balls in this huge house.
We're gonna degenerate. We already have. Fuck it.
Well, when you see balls, you know a butt's not far away. As my mother always told me, if you're looking for a butt, start with the balls and go around.
What the fuck is happening to me? Going to, yeah. yeah. Let's get back to the story. Scrumptious cakes, right. The silver teapot gleamed and the starched crowns of the napkins stood like palace guards around the plates. Everyone's butts were on them. Simon wheeled the cart into the room and left it in front of Angelica.
Well, what have we here to offer our guests?
Angelica asked.
Anything look tempting to you girls?
Jenna's mouth watered as she smelled the delicious aroma of fresh scones. Oh God, that's the...
Betty Boop never said the word penis. What testicles? Testicles are the besticles, I guess. You smarty me dumb. How pretty, have fun. Boop boop, be-doop, sex.
That was such a funny one. You can reach a point of diminishing returns on the sexiness.
What's a diminishing?
Oh God! All right, let's get back in it. Angelica fixed them each cups of tea and plates of cake. Soon, she and Haley eagerly sipped sweet tea and nibbled on the most delicious pastries they'd ever tasted. Jenna tried to remember... Oh, fuck, the fucking Christmas song's gonna be in my head forever now. I don't care, it's pretty good. Jenna tried to remember her manners and eat in a ladylike fashion. But when Angelica offered her seconds, she couldn't resist.
Why, you seem to like the scones,
Angelica observed. Yeah, Jenna agreed. They're right delicious, Haley added. Angelica smiled.
I made them myself. I learned the trick from a Scottish maid I once had years ago.
Her smile faded.
My daughters used to love 'em. I could never bake enough. Sometimes they even squabbled over the last few crumbs.
For a moment, Jenna thought she saw a glimmer of tears in the woman's eyes, which took up most of her face. She felt sorry for Angelica. Yes, she might seem a bit strange sometimes, but after all, she'd lost both her daughters. Simon leaned forward. I understand that you're only visiting here, Jenna. Yeah, for the summer, she agreed. Haley and I are best friends, and it's been hard for us to live so far apart.
Oh, they're as close as sisters, Angelica told him.
Oh, he replied solemnly, like sisters. He and his wife shared a look and a smile. Then Angelica turned to Jenna.
And how do you like Shadyside, Jenna?
She asked. Scottish maid trick. Doctors hate her, mostly because of the voice.
Oh, doctor, you just gotta give me something. There's something wrong with my guts.
Just let's not. Like sisters, they say pointedly, yeah. Yeah. That's definitely going somewhere safe. How do you like Shadyside? I haven't seen much of it. Just arrived last night, Jenna replied. Simon chuckled. Ho, 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 ho. I heard you got quite a tour of the cemetery, however. Jenna felt her cheeks grow warm. Yeah. It's all right, my dear, he assured her. My wife and I know you're only curious, and that sheer high-spiritedness lured you into our daughter's resting place. We have never begrudged a young person a bit of high spirits. He and Angelica laughed. Ho, ho, ho. Jenna didn't understand the joke, but then these were grown-ups. Spirits. Hey sis, they say naturally, like all siblings do. I won't worry about making friends, Simon told them, still chuckling. You're both so pretty. I'm sure the young men will soon be flocking around, begging for a moment of your time. Or perhaps a caress of your soft hands. What? No, it doesn't say that. Come on, Flora. Come on, sweetie. Jenna studied them. Angelica didn't seem so strange anymore. I don't know which is weirder. These girls are fucking doomed. Jenna studied them. Angelica didn't seem so strange anymore, and Simon no longer held that grim, forbidding look that had frightened her at first. Come up, don't just look at me. She felt herself beginning to relax and enjoy herself. And she was surprised when Haley set her plate aside and got up. What was that? Fitz. I thought I heard a meow. Maybe I meowed.
Come on, sweetie, come up. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Give me a kisses, kisses, kisses. What? You don't want to give me any kisses. Just because I'm mean to you.
Haley set her plate aside and got up. We've got to go now, Haley announced. My parents will be wondering where we are. They don't know? Simon asked. Haley's face turned scarlet. Jenna realized that Haley was up to her old tricks. Well,
So you didn't tell them you were coming to visit the strange, notorious Fears,
Angelica said. Still blushing, Haley ducked her head. You don't have to be embarrassed, my dear, Simon assured her. We're used to the things people say about us. We've even learned to pay no mind. I'm just glad you decided to come, despite the rumors. He rose. Still, we can't have you getting into trouble. So if it's time for you to go, you shall.
The voice?
Angelica murmured as she rose from her seat, wiggling.
I'd like to show you something.
She glanced at Simon again, Jenna noticed, as if silently requesting his permission, she felt. He nodded at her and she smiled.
Come on, girls,
Angelica ordered with a wave of her hand.
Follow me.
The Fears led the girls down the dim hallway to the foyer, then up the curving stairway. Don't go to a secondary location with Angelica and Simon Fear. At the top of the stairs, they turned down another dim, narrow corridor. He kept rising, up into the air. Simon was a ghost. He was the old man from the movie Up, but it was a reverse thing. The house stayed where it was, and he just kept going. I fucking hate that movie. Finally, Angelica stopped and flung open a heavy oak door. Heavy curtains covered the windows, like the other rooms, Jenna noticed. But enough light remained for Jenna to see the room clearly. A bedroom, decorated all in blue. Angelica led them inside.
You've reached Catherine's phone. She's not around right now, so you'll have to leave a message. Or I'll get Roger Rabbit to come to your house and kick you in the cunt. Beep.
That's why I don't have an answering message. I think it just says the phone number. Come up if you're coming up. Don't just stare at me. It's weird. Things are getting weird enough. Angelica led them inside. Jenna paused at the four-poster canopied bed, her gaze resting on a beautiful china doll that sat in a nest of frilly lace pillows. A silver comb and brush sat on the dresser, and colourful hair ribbons twined around the handle of the brush.
Roger Rabbit's gonna kick you in the cunt. Sorry. Them's the breaks. Roger Rabbit broke his foot kicking me in the cunt.
Sorry. We're gonna have to behave. I'm gonna try and behave a little bit. Just a little bit.
Such a pretty room, don't you think?
Angelica asked without using the C word. Oh, yes, Haley replied as her hand gently stroked a fancy dress that hung across the back of a chair. This had to be one of their daughters' rooms, Jenna knew. One of their dead daughters. It looked to Jenna as if it had been kept exactly the way the girl had left it. As if the Fears expected her to return at any moment. Jenna gazed around curiously.
My buddy Cap Calloway will have you moited, and my boyfriend's a dog. He's literally a dog. It's illegal. Bathtub gin and fucking dogs. It's prohibition. I'm incorrigible. Because Josh keeps encouraging me.
Australian folk have Betty Boop as best Betty Boop. Oh, God. It's the idea of Roger Rabbit. Look, let's just leave. Just leave that. Jenna gazed around curiously. She noticed a glass case full of dolls and moved toward it. Most of them looked like the china doll on the bed. Then Jenna saw a group on the lower shelf, a type of doll she'd never seen before. Made out of bits of rag and straw, the crude bodies looked twisted and distorted. One of them looked different. Long silver pins protruded from its limbs. Jenna gritted her teeth and looked away. Yet the bizarre sight drew her gaze back again. Daughters of silence. Why the daughters of me laughing way too much.
What if there was a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode where Larry got a bonk on the head and had to talk like Betty Boop? It happens. It's his greatest fear, and he's never told anyone but me. Oops!
That does happen. Sometimes people get a bonk on the head and they just start speaking with a different accent and they have to like retrain their whole voice. Amazing. Amazing.
Pretty. Pretty good.
The sight made Jenna shudder, and the idea of a Curb Your Enthusiasm story about that. Why would they do it? With a hard knot in her stomach, she quickly turned away. Oh, sorry, I missed a paragraph. So the doll, pins in the doll. She noticed the pins had large rounded ends. She looked closer, saw the ends were actually carved images of tiny skulls. Large red stain marked the place the pins stabbed the doll's body, and pins had even been stabbed through the eyes.
For the love of God, Montresor! You just can't brick me up here. You just can't.
What? Stop! Stop looking at me like that. Yep, for the love of fucking God, Montresor. The sight made Jenna shudder, the pins. With a hard knot in her stomach, she quickly turned away. Our dear Hannah loved to collect dolls, Simon confided. All types of dolls. She even made some herself. She was quite clever with her hands. Back when her hands were alive and attached to her body, which was also living.
Yup, very clever,
Angelica repeated proudly. Yeah, those dolls on the bottom, Jenna asked in a halting voice. Did Hannah make those? Fucking rough. Why, yes, Simon replied slowly. When we lived down in Norway. For such a young person, she already knew a great deal about voodoo.
Doll making!
Angelica cut in abruptly. Jenna noticed her exchange an intense glance with her husband. Then she looked at Jenna and smiled.
It's quite not, you know. Haley, I'd like to show you something,
Angelica called. She strolled over to the dresser where she opened a drawer and removed a blue velvet box. She snapped open the box and held it out to Haley, and Jenna spotted a heart-shaped gold locket within.
This belonged to my daughter, Hannah,
Angelica explained. She held the necklace out to Haley. The gold winked and shimmered in the dim light.
I'd like you to have it.
Oh, it's it's beautiful, Haley exclaimed. She quickly slipped the gold chain over her head. I love it. Thank you.
It looks lovely on ya,
Angelica told her.
It should be worn by a young girl, not sitting forgotten in a drawer.
I have no fucking clue how Betty Boop would say drawer. Drawer. And now for Jenna, Simon murmured. None of this seemed sinister at all. Voodoo doll making, yeah. They might not know the word voodoo. I don't know. I need to read more about the cultural history of fucking voodoo and shit. Simon led them across the hall to another bedroom, decorated all in rose. Actually, hang on. Hannah Fear was never described as having any interest in the occult. Like, Julia was, but not Hannah. I don't think she made voodoo dolls. Well, maybe she did and it wasn't relevant to the plot. Anyway, the other room, pink rosebuds splashed across the wallpaper, and the quilted coverlet ranged in shades from palest blush to deep coral. Pottery bowls and vases, all in different shapes and sizes, covered the dresser. One of the houses we lived in when I was a kid, because we moved around a lot because we were renting, so like the landlord would raise the rent and we'd just move. One of the places where we lived had identical wallpaper and curtains in the two bedrooms that were not the master bedroom, but one was pink with pink wallpaper and pink curtains, and the other one was blue, but it was the same pattern kind of thing. Initially we shared the pink one and the blue one was Dad's study, but then I got the teenagerisms, I got the puberties, I got sentenced to puberty by a judge, and I got the blue room. Which soon proved that it had a very apt name, because I got depression. Sorry. Pottery bowls and vases, all in different shapes and sizes, covered the dresser of Julia's room. Angelica leaned over and picked up a large round bowl decorated with birds and flowers.
Julia was so artistic too.
That was artistic, but in the Betty Boop voice it came out autistic. Sorry, she explained, running one fingertip around the edge of the bowl.
She made many beautiful things, as you can see.
May I see it? Haley asked, already reaching for it.
Why, of course,
Angelica replied. She handed Haley the bowl and began pointing out the details in each little bird and flower. From across the room, Jenna heard Haley's appreciative sighs. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff, Mrs. Fear. I'm really enjoying learning about pottery. I think it might be my thing. I made all that up. Jenna glanced around Julia's room. Would she find another case of hideous dolls, or something just as awful? In the far corner of the room, on a wooden pedestal, Jenna spotted a tall, domed bird cage. The pretty cage stood empty. Julia must have kept a pet bird, Jenna thought, and her parents felt too sentimental to remove the empty cage. Sadnesses of animals? Jenna's gaze dropped to the bottom of the cage, where she saw a pile of small white bones. Unkindnesses to animals over.
Julia was a nature lover,
Jenna heard Angelica murmur from somewhere right behind her.
Which is why it's so fitting that she was buried alive. She became part of the dirt that she loved so much. She adored all kinds of creatures,
Angelica added emphatically and also canonically.
Big or small, pretty or homely. All creatures under the sun have their purpose, Mother, she used to say, especially the porpoise. Remember Simon?
Angelica asked. How very true, too, Simon asserted. Now, Jenna, he announced, we have something for you. He turned and opened a painted wooden box on the dresser. Lifting the lid, he slipped out a bracelet of delicate crystal beads. Here you are, my dear, he said, holding it out. This was Julia's favourite piece of jewellery.
I know she would be pleased to see it worn by a pretty young girl like you,
Angelica offered.
And if she wouldn't be pleased, who gives a fuck? She's dead. When you're dead, you can't feel nothing. That's existential terror.
Jenna's skin crawled. She didn't want it. She didn't want to touch a dead girl's bracelet, let alone wear it. But she couldn't think of a way to refuse politely. Slowly, reluctantly, she extended her hand. Yeah, cheers, she muttered. Simon laid the bracelet in her palm. Jenna started to put it away in her pocket. Oh no, you must wear it, Simon protested. Here, let me put it on for you. Plucking the bracelet from her hand, he slipped it around her wrist and fastened the gold catch. It, looks very pretty on you, Jenna, Haley told her. Jenna held her wrist up. The crystal beads caught the light, reflecting it in a rainbow glitter. She'd never seen such a pretty bracelet, she thought, turning her arm from side to side. The glass beads felt cool against her skin, but soon picked up the heat from her body. Then the bracelet got warmer. That's impossible, she thought. She glanced at Haley. The other girl peered into a mirror, admiring her new necklace. Jenna saw nothing but pleasure showing in her face. It's just never a good word, you know? The bracelet grew hotter. The shimmering beads felt like a band of fire dancing around her wrist. Jenna stared down at them, noticing a pulsing red light deep in the centre of each crystal sphere, the colour of a burning ember. She rubbed at her skin, expecting to see a red mark. Her skin looked totally normal, but it felt circled by blistering flames. The fiery sensation lanced up her forearm. The intense heat spread across her shoulders and back. Higher, fiery fingers choking her neck. Hotter, shooting into her skull. Jenna gripped the sides of her head and screamed. Ow! End of chapter 4. Ah, brava! Brava to me! Brava! I did it. I read a chapter and a half and I only used the C word like 8 times. Sphere? Sphere, oh my god. Fear is everywhere. Thank you guys for turning up at this unusual hour. Thank you for enjoying whatever that was. Hydrate, thank you. Yeah, it was a tour de farce, I think. But thank you. I will hydrate. And I guess not tomorrow because we have D&D tomorrow, but I guess on Sunday switcheroo all the voices again, get some Capaldi back into the mix. Thank you for saying balls. Thank you guys, thank you so much. God, this fucking thing, I'm gonna have to use glue. I swear to God, I'll use glue, I'll do it. Alright, have a good night. Peter fucking Capaldi. No, he's the one you want to hear say fucking balls. I feel like it's more Jamie McDonald, but whatever. Yeah, have a good night. Friday night. I'm feeling that we just might go to someplace they don't know who we are. Okay, I'm gonna go watch I Think You Should Leave again. Yeah. Good night. Good night. Evelyn has just sent me a text saying, oh god damn it. That's okay. That is really funny. Okay. Good night, guys.